Very much. I'm very lucky to have been able to stand in the general election at the same time that Lou did last year. I was standing against Nick Clegg. I came 5th. But the thing that was lucky there was that I got asked by the NUT, did I support their aims? And I was able to say wholeheartedly, yes, I did, and I still do. So, I'm also in the lucky position of being a supply teacher. That's lucky because when crap comes along, I can walk away. I'm in semi-retirement. This time next year I'll be retiring, so, you know, it's that sort of thing. I do see a lot of crap. And I'm not talking about the work that the children produce. I'm talking about the way management acts. I'm going to talk about 4 particular academies. I know 3 of them personally, and another one I heard about just last night. Okay, so let's start with, right, so there's one in Barnes. I'm not going to name it because this is something I've heard about, seen, that hasn't hit the news, so I don't want to preempt anything happening here. So I'm not going to name the school. I was overhearing, just happened to be in the staff room at the same time as, some teaching assistants saying, it's awful this, why are they giving us all these timesheets to fill in? So I said, oh, what's happening? And they said, well, they've just said we've got to fill in a timesheet, quarter of an hour slots, timesheets, for every day. And then they're interviewing all the learning assistants, the teaching assistants as well. And then they're coming in and observing them a couple of times a week each. Alarm bells went off in my head and I said, well, that sounds very much as if they're trying to create some sort of excuse for doing away with you and making sure that the people with learning disabilities and other disabilities that you look after have to go somewhere else because they must be costing too much. Now that was just very recently, that was within the last fortnight. Now, last night, as I said, I read a story about an academy in Banbury. This academy in Banbury was closing down its unit that helped people with learning disabilities because it cost too much. This is what's going to happen. We've got people who desperately need top-class education with all the help, extra help that they need, and they are going to have their education taken away from them because academies don't want to. It's not because they can't afford them, they don't want to afford them. They want more profit. That's what academisation is. It is privatisation. Private companies are motivated by profit. They want more profit. And these are children that cost them far too much. So they'll do away with all those departments that deal with them. Like I say, the first one is my own experience, the second one, reading in a newspaper. Okay, another one from my own experience. About 3 or 4 weeks ago now, I was in a school, not very far from here, and in the staff room again, I saw a couple of, they were actually heads of year, opening letters from senior management. And these letters, I could see the shoulders sagging when they read them. And I asked, well, you know, what's up? What's up there? They said they're not going to have heads of year from now on. We cost too much. So they're getting rid of heads of year. Now this is an absolutely crucial role in schools. It's absolutely crucial to have the sort of pastoral care that heads of year can give. And if they're getting rid of them, how is that going to affect, first of all, the staff? I could see their shoulders sagging, and this sort of decision-making and handing down by senior management without any sort of talking to the staff, without any sort of preamble, just straight away, we're getting rid of your extra post. And that's about £3,000 or £4,000 a year extra that all of a sudden, from September, they won't have. They might have made plans on that money. The fourth one I'm going to talk about is King Egbert's. King Egbert's is a good Sheffield school. It's a very good Sheffield school. And again, last night I found out that they were closing down their unit to help disadvantaged pupils. And I signed a petition. You can go online and find it for yourself. I can't remember the title, sorry, I didn't take it down. I signed a petition to try and stop them getting rid of this department. I find all of this really, really upsetting. They're all academies, and it's all very different from when things weren't academies. I find it really upsetting that the children are going to be disadvantaged, that the staff are going to be disadvantaged. I think that means the communities in which those schools sit won't be properly served. I think that means the country as a whole won't be properly served. Academies are, we all know it, academies are part of conservative ideology. It's privatisation. They're doing it with the NHS. The junior doctors are resisting very, very well. They're doing it with legal aid. They cut legal aid. They're doing it with housing, with the new housing bill that's just going through. They're doing it in social work. All sorts of socially funded, government funded, publicly funded services that are for the public good just don't fit into their ideology. And so they're closing them down, they're selling them off, and they're making sure that their friends can benefit from them by getting all the profit out of it. I think the only way that we together can act from now on is to get together all those groups of people, whether it's the parents of children who are being disadvantaged, whether it's the teachers, the junior doctors, the housing officers, the people who do the legal aid. All these people should get together and make common cause, because if we don't do that, everything will be privatised and nothing will be a public service anymore. It will be very much like America. I really hate that idea. So I'm suggesting that once the NUT's had its ballot, and I'm assuming that the ballot is going to be a massive yes, we must strike.
Sorry.
I'd really like some commitment to get together with those junior doctors who are doing such a good job of resisting Mr. Hunt, so that the campaigns can get together and be twice as effective, 3 times as effective. That's what I suggest. Right, that's it. Thank you.